Hey guys, sorry. Give me 1 second. Hey. I was just kind of getting some stuff set up. Hold on, hang on here. Okay, so let's take a look. So last week we got up to December 2014. So I think that was the build that I showed at PlayStation Experience, the very first PlayStation Experience. So let's take a look at. Again, we're going to keep it fairly short today. Got quite a bit of work to do. Okay. Let me get these. Alright, so we're going to continue. So let me start looking for builds from, would have been 2015, early 2015. And this part gets a little tricky because I stopped hang on to builds like that, so let's see here. Oh no, this would have still been called relativity. Alright, well why don't we take a look at this, because this is relativity January 10th. I think this is the build that I submitted to the experimental gameplay workshop. I did not get in the experimental gameplay workshop at GDC. I applied for like 3 years in a row, and I never made it in, and then at some point I just stopped. But this year I am going to submit the game to IGF. Hey Noah, how's it going? 20C109. Welcome back. Alright, so let's I'm gonna play through this. Ooh. What? Oh, that's Japanese, actually. It was from when I had it at Tokyo Game Show. So I think I'm doing something here where the colors like adapt. I'm just gonna play through this. Yeah, see, back then the door still had this that old texture. Yep, that's still the old line mesh before I wrote a line mesh system. No, it's I was showing the game at Tokyo Game Show in September 2014, and I needed Japanese text so people understood what oh yeah. Oh man, I still hadn't added this. Oh no, I added that. Yeah, see, the cube still kept that. That was still the old design of the cube. There's still the overlap bug out of the window. Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. With the lines getting drawn on top there. Oh, give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to... So the cool thing about this stream that I'm doing is that the game, because sort of I'm working on the game as well. Like, the game is not finished; it's still being worked on. And the pattern is I show an old build and then I look at our latest version and then compare. And the newest version is still being updated. Unfortunately, I did not add. Man, it was way too long before I added no clip. It was actually almost kind of dumb. You can see that. Look at this. Look at the way that stuff had to rely on it being lifted off in order not to have Z fighting. So you guys see this? Oops. Wait. 1 second. Hang on. Pull up, zoom it. So yeah, if you take a look at this right here, the way that's lifted was this whole thing was made up of like separate game objects, so there'd be a bunch of different line segments like this, and each segment was there was an empty game object, and then I would have the mesh like slightly lifted up. It'd be, I think it was like 0.25 units. Anyway, it worked. Not the prettiest solution. Oh, that's got a weird. Oh yeah, so that's like I think there's one of the default Unity shaders, and what it does is it's like dynamic luminosity or something. The way, you know, if you have something really bright in the screen, it'll try to balance that out. It'll like make it a little dimmer. But it results in all these weird artifacts. Like, see that? See, it's like really bright, and then when you get close, it's sort of, I don't know, that feels kind of weird. Oh yeah, one of the things I want to do is actually make these buns a lot bigger. Do I even need buttons? I feel like it should just be when you're in front of it. HDR tone mapping, yeah, I think that's probably it. Oh yeah, this was pre-trees. Pre-trees. And I don't think it worked if I threw it off. Let me see this. I don't think it made a difference. Yeah, we're not gonna see it come back. Yeah, so this was before I got the world wrapping to work with cubes. Oh, and you had to reset both. I was in a there's a bug. Yeah, it is. That is intentional. I want a lot of happen. Did like this. This did look pretty cool. And unfortunately, there's not there's not a whole lot here. Yeah. Now you can see look. If you look at the beam, it doesn't repeat. Look at that. You'll see it pop in, which gives it away. All right. Now let's take a look at another build from that year. Relatively backup executable versions. Do we do? Did I save any 2015? Oh, okay. Looks like I stopped making regular builds after 2014. So I think we'll be skipping through these a lot faster. Let me see. Okay, so that would have been that's Alpha 2015. Yeah, okay, looks like I don't have anything. Okay, yeah, it looks like we're gonna be jumping straight to the build from 2015. May 2015, yeah. Oh no, wait. Here we go. We've got something. Here we go. Okay, I did find it. Hey, you still need to be very near to see the objects, to see the colors. Is it still like that? You can see a little bit more. I think we might have toned it down a bit. Wait a minute, this is actually... Never mind. This is actually the entire... This is an actual project folder. Okay, that's actually... That's just the... That is not a build of the game. That is actually just a zip of the project. I gotta make sure to delete this. This is from February 21st. Now let's see if some of these might have builds inside the folder. If not, I think we're gonna... Yeah, it doesn't look like it. I think we're gonna have to jump. We might have to... We might have to jump all the way to May 2015. Oh, here's an interesting one. Let's take a look at this. This is, it's called Relativity Sandbox. From April 3rd. So let me look at, see what's going on here. Move this out of the way. Oh, fuck. It's, you know what it is? It screws up. It freaks out when you have the PS4 DualShock controller. Ah, okay. So, yeah, I know what this is. So, this is a cool level. I'm actually glad I got to show you guys this. So, this is a sandbox level where I'm trying to test out all the different mechanics. So, you can look at here's like the switch for the cube, right? So it's not working here, but I think that you can see the glass. So this is like early version of having the line light up, not all at once, right? And I believe the way it was doing this, so this was still kind of an old school way. I would have a longer line mesh, but what it would take was it would take the distance of it. So yeah, let me tell you guys. So like what it does is what the fuck? Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna be able to draw on it. It looks like. Huh, weird. Not sure what that version of Unity did. But so my tool, like I have to do Control 2, and every time I do Control 2, it kicks me out of the window. So, but yeah, basically what it does is it takes it, it calculates the distance, figures out the next one in the chain, and what it does is it uses the line, the distance of the line to figure out how fast the speed should move. So it actually is stretching, so it's a percentage that it's lighting up, but it figures out how much based on the length of the line. Now here's a funny one. This is you guys know what this is? This is the early water. Come on. Work. So you can see I had different Oh, first of all, our notification was much smaller. So what you'll notice here is I had different cubes. Like I had different cubes that you could use. No, what was it? I don't even know if I could. Oh yeah, so you couldn't rotate the cubes. So I had water directing cubes, and they were different than normal cubes that you use. And eventually, what I did was I just kind of combined them. So we're looking at April 2015, right? But yeah, you couldn't redirect them. I think maybe you were able to stop it. No, you just yeah, this is the earliest water. Yeah, I was trying to sort out the physics of it. This is oh yeah, this is cool. So yeah, I have this tool where if I hit K, it takes screenshots. So you know that's really helpful. That's why I have so many screenshots of the game in development. Oh yeah, and I could walk through it. So, but yeah, this is yeah. So we had the right. You could pick off these trees. Off the cube. Now I made it so that it lerp. One thing I did like in this build was the color was this shadow on transparent objects. Now that is actually a bug in Unity, but yeah, so here you can see what I'm doing is I built this sandbox level. These are the earliest trees, and one second, guys. I'm not sure what that was about. Can you stack the cubes? Well, so they didn't mean anything, right? So that's why I replaced it completely with the water, having that L on top. But yeah, this was just like a test level to make sure I had all the different pieces working. Oh, the door is not working here. Oh yeah, I still hadn't added the fade color. Is this even the same level? Oh yeah. Alright, that's enough of this one. Okay, so that was interesting. Relativity Sandbox. So that's from April 2015. Just found a document called Relativity Plan. You guys want to see this? Relativity Marketing and Development Plan. Scheduled release date May 2016. So I made this, looks like around February 2015. Social media channels, Twitter. Still new to this. Look at this. This is the funniest. I don't really know how to use Twitch. Stream level design process. These were sort of ideas at the time. Festivals, conventions. I don't pay so much attention to festivals now. You know, these are just kind of a list of sites that have featured the game. Thought they could work. Oh yeah, you know, we were talking about video game art gallery. Yeah, I got invited. There was like an Escher day and they wanted to play the game. Let me see, there might be stuff I don't want to show here. Oh yeah, okay, there's some other stuff I'm not going to show here. First level of game running on PS4 hardware, May 2015. June 2015, have a rough outline of entire game ready. This didn't happen until like 2 months ago. This didn't happen until June 2017. So yeah, I missed it by about 2 years. I didn't do PAX Crown, I didn't do Tokyo Game Show that year. Entire game pretty much set. Yeah, it did not launch. So that's that. Even the best plans fail us. Well, let's take. I did find this build, and it's a game from 2015. No, I don't want to talk to any of these. I changed the name to Willie Cheers Relativity because there were some other problems there. That's actually a good thing to talk about. So basically what happened was, I'll talk about it as I'm playing through this. So you can see some changes. Yeah, we still have that problem. Basically, when I was at GDC in 2015, I got an email from a friend and they were like, oh, so this is starting to look like the current game. And they said, hey, you know, there's this game called Relativity on Kickstarter. You should talk to them. Let me see if I can find it. This is actually, this is an interesting something to talk about. I like to that's related to game development. How do you just like? Is there a way you could show more? Okay, let's go back up a little bit. Yeah, I changed the name of the game here. I did write about it too. Yeah, so I saw this conversation. Yeah. I used to go by Willie when I was younger, and then I was like, and then when I was about to turn 30, I was like, I can't do that anymore. I'm William. So, I emailed them, and I was like, hey, guys, I've been working on this game, Relativity, for 2.5 years, and it's, coming out on PC, PlayStation 4, and it's been announced at PlayStation Experience. I've shown it at PAX East, Tokyo Game Show, Bit Bash, it's been on Wired, Polygon, Kotaku, and I was like, hey, could you guys change the name of the project? Like, you guys just launched, and they were asking for, and it didn't look like they knew what they were doing. Like, they had, they were asking for $10,000 on Kickstarter to, like, buy Unity assets. And, I was saying it would have very little confusion, and, like, I can help you come up with suggestions. And they were like, hey, what's the theme of your game? And they said if they have completely different kinds of games, then it shouldn't be a problem. So, I explained what the game was about. But I clarified that it's still a problem, right, when you're searching on Steam. And they just... Yeah, they wouldn't budge. Because their game was about time travel and my game was about impossible gravity. I think they said the best way to think of this is like music. There may be 1,000 songs with the same name, but if you know the genre artist, you will surely be able to find it. Lastly, our game will be released in a few years. By this time, your game will have run its course, leaving less room for confusion. And yeah, anyway, they wouldn't budge. I think eventually I think my also concern here was I did not want people to search for Relativity and find like this failed Kickstarter. I think they ended up changing their name to like Timestamp or something. So anyway, that kind of got me to start looking at the name thing, and basically I discovered I couldn't actually hold. If I had the name like trademarked, I could have actually legally gotten them to change it. But what happened was, as I started to look into it, Relativity Media. So you guys might know them. They're a film studio. They actually had the name trademarked. You can actually search in here. So if you look at the USPTO database, I think if you can search trademarks. Yeah, so you can search here, basic word. I was on this for a while, and yeah, you can see basically. So Relativity Media, they're financing. So I think they were a bit of history. They it was like a bunch of. I think the guy used to work on Wall Street, and what the sort of the deal that put them on the map was they actually helped set up Marvel Studio, and the way they did that was they were able to do it with Marvel putting up their IP as the investment, right? So basically Marvel didn't have to put any money. They could just put up their IP and other people put up the money. So that's how so Marvel Studio, which is huge now, because basically, it was all these other studios making Marvel movies, and Marvel was like, man, we're losing a ton of money. We should just make these movies ourselves. So, yeah, Relativity Media helped them set up that deal, and it basically didn't cost them anything. But you can see they have it. They have it in everything. I think if you look for like Relativity, like maybe game. I'm not even sure, but there was. Like they've got Relativity School, right? That's also Relativity Media, because they also teach people. There is do they have Relativity Vineyards? Okay, no, that's someone else. But yeah, Relativity Education, that's all Relativity Media. So that's dead. You can, but you know, they did have it in, yeah, see, Relativity, compact disc featuring music, computer game software, computer programs for video and computer games, like their lawyers just got trademarks for everything under the sun with the name Relativity. There is actually, that came up after, so that game showed up afterwards, which was another reason why I wanted to change it. So basically, I spent a long time worrying about that, sort of basically starting in March when I discovered. So I didn't announce the name change till like September. So basically, it was like 6 months of a ton of stress, and a lot of people were against me changing it. They said you had so much press built up to now people know the game, and that was a mistake. Like, I think in the end, changing the name to Manifold Garden was the best thing I did. Actually, when I changed the name to Manifold Garden, that was like the biggest press saturation. So much stuff got written about it, and also, you know, when I think about it, the game had, like, so there was the law stuff, right? The legal stuff. Like, so the Kickstarter named Relativity was sort of the initial seed that got me thinking about it. And as I looked into it, that became less of a problem, and Relativity Media became more of an issue. Because I basically couldn't trademark Relativity for the game name. So if another game wanted to call the Relativity, I didn't have a right to like stop them. And you know, I could contact Relativity and ask to use the name, but they're like a big company in Hollywood. Why would they say yes? And you know, later they might send me a cease and desist, and that would force me to change the name of my game, and that's like another headache, especially after your game has been released. Side note, Relativity Media did eventually go bankrupt. And I thought about buying the trademark from them, but I think that would have happened. It's like $300-400, but the thing is, if you don't start using it, like if you're not already selling a product with the name, you have to keep applying for extensions. So it's gotten kind of expensive for me just because of how long I've pushed back the game, but yeah, I think to apply for it, lawyer fees, it's like, I don't know, $500-600. It's a pretty standard procedure, so a lot of law firms will have like a preset package. You know, they're not going to charge you by the hour. But ultimately, really what pushed me over, because a lot of people were saying you could just kind of fly under the radar. No, I think you get like 6 months, but you just keep applying for extensions. So, you know, eventually a game did come out with the name Relativity, which so these guys are obviously not. Relativity Media hasn't forced them to change the name of the game, but. So ultimately, it wasn't so much the legal side of things, but more when I thought about, like, I read this interview with, by the way, you know what, let me post this link. I got this, that's from my devlog post, but I was reading this interview with Draken, who made Starseed Pilgrim. And he talks about how, you know, like, to this day, the original name for the game is Planting Platforms. And that's still the project folder. And I love Starseed Pilgrim as a name, right? Because, like, and it, you know, he could have called the game Planting Platforms. That would have been fine. But Starseed Pilgrim just adds so much more. Like it's such a it's like I said here, right? It's poetic, evocative. It's mysterious. Yeah. And I wish I could call my game Starseed Pilgrim. I think it's just a beautiful name. Like it adds so much to the experience. Right, Starseed. It's like I think about like space, galaxy, like reaching for the stars. Like it's dreamy, and Pilgrim, exploration. Like Platform Planter, you don't get that. And Relativity I came up with that name in 10 minutes because originally I was like, hey, I'm going to make a game based on this MC Escher print called Relativity. Let's call it Relativity. So I kind of realized that Relativity was my version of Platform Planter. And I should find the Starseed Pilgrim of it, right? So like it Relativity described the mechanic more or less, and you can see that like because it's a low-hanging fruit as far as the name goes. Somebody else made a game about changing gravity and also called it Relativity, but I don't think that they would have come up with Manifold Garden unless they had sort of all the things that I was doing. So so ultimately I'm really glad I changed it. I'm really happy. Yeah, I mean, it was a working title, but the game built up momentum, and then at a certain point it just sort of it felt like it got finalized. Like articles started being written about it, I started showing it at events. People were like, oh, I saw Relativity somewhere. So yeah, it was kind of a working title that kind of got set in its way, and it was hard to pull back from that. And it just had like SEO problems. Every time if you want to go on Reddit and see if people are talking about your game, if you search for Relativity, it's people discussing Einstein's theory of relativity. If you search for Relativity on Twitter, people are like, hey, I missed the bus, but I still got to work early, #Relativity. Like, it's just too broad. Am I going to get to the point where people think of, when I say relativity, people think of my game instead of Einstein's theory of relativity? No, and I would not want a world where that happens. Like, let's save it for this. Plus, there's like this law software that people use. It's funny because sometimes when I meet lawyers and I told them my game was Relativity, they'd be like, oh, did you know I use this software called Relativity at work. Now, here's a funny thing. I still get the second. Oh, interesting. I beat this guy. For a long time, this MIT game about relativity called Slower Speed of Light would show up before me. But now it's like, I'm not even called Relativity, and this shows up. So I kind of kept so it's kind of like I kept Relativity game, at least as far as Google searches go. But here's the funny thing, which is that because I was showing screenshots of the game really early, a lot of time when journalists were looking for a screenshot of the game when they're writing an article, they would Google Relativity and then grab one of these screenshots. And sometimes they grab this one and it's an old one. After I changed the name of the game, that stopped happening because I changed it like pretty far along. So, sometimes they still grab old screenshots, but they're all like good screenshots. So that's pretty fun. Still, I mean, it's still up there. I still get garden manifolds, which is annoying because I think they're looking for the word garden and they're looking for the word manifold. I'm not signed in. I mean, I don't like. I'm not too concerned about the placement of it on, like, if it's front page, it's front page. And I still keep the relativity game URL just for all the old links that link to it. But you know, the other really wonderful thing is I got the URL manifold.garden. Yeah, probably. So anyway, yeah, like so let's go back here. I use Opera when I'm streaming. Yeah, the colors are much more vibrant, but this is still very anti-chamberist. It's too bright. Oh. Yeah, you know what? You gotta get permit now. Oh, I got rid of this. You can see that it would still have the 2 windows because I thought it was kind of cool to look out, but we just kept. Yeah, I ended up getting rid of these. I don't think. Oh no, wait, never mind. I do have them. I did not get rid of them. My bad. My bad. No, they're still there. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't announced anything yet. I am meeting with a friend who is a sound designer. He's not going to be working on the game. He works at another studio full time. But I'm going to just kind of talk to him about how I want to approach it and stuff I can expect. But yeah, we're starting to do that. So I'm getting the ball rolling on that this next week, this upcoming week. Oh yeah, you can see, so these are, we fixed the cubes. So yeah, they still don't have the rotation. You can't rotate cubes. Oh god, this version is not, has some movement problems. Not really fun. Yes, that is from Ryan Roth. I need to email him. Oh, come on. I was just made this one a lot shorter. I wonder if I had fixed that at this point. Oh, you can see I also made it. Yeah, so this should light up. Oh, let me. No, it still is not fixed. It still would pop in. It's actually too bright. I don't know about you, but I find this screen like way too bright to look at. I'm actually kind of getting a headache. All right, now let's Okay, so why don't we take a look at... Let's kick out of there. And let's just take a look at the latest build. Now that intro is much slower. Override me. Yeah, notice how much faster I'm moving. I think the darker color helps. You know, I should make it so that it doesn't default on load game, actually. Yeah, it doesn't work as well. This one is much more fitting. It doesn't, you know, if you have a busy scene in the game, then that one kind of really, that pause screen doesn't really work. Well, the world growing is placeholder. I mean, it's more... I don't want world growing to look ugly. It's more of a issue with the... It's more like players would have a hard time. Like, you can imagine this, if I paused it. Well, actually, I need to pause this sound. But that would be kind of annoying. Bada bum 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 bum. Thank God for no clip. Oh yeah, this is the old version. I've actually changed it. So actually, I was just working on this last night, so this room's been redone. I can show you. You know, I'm probably not gonna do that. It's a lot of work to like detect it and change up with another color. I think I'm probably, I'm not overly concerned about the dark world. I like, yeah, that would be cool, but I'm gonna. That's actually non-trivial amount of design work. Yeah, it's a small thing. Well, it's actually a big thing for not a lot of improvement, because I basically have to redesign the menu twice. Like, it wouldn't be as simple as just inverting colors. There's so here's the new design. It's pretty intense. So, oh fuck, it's not finished. It's definitely not lighting up. The beam is growing the wrong way. Are they all broken? Yeah, yellow beam is flipped. Anyway, that is the new level. So it looks like we covered January to May of 2015 this year. So it's this series is moving a lot faster than I had expected. Okay. Maybe. This is inverted. And blue is not connected. Right, I am going to take a break, and actually I have to go out to this game event in the city, so I'm going to go get some food, and what I will do is I will come back this evening. I'll continue streaming. Alright, that's going to be it for me for now. Let's see. I am going to host... Yeah, what do you know? Hardly. Ah, hey! Synthoid Commander. I've not hosted him in a long time, so I'm going to host his channel. All right, guys. If you like the stream, you should follow the channel. And you know, if you're interested in the game, we do have it on Steam. You can wishlist it. We also have a Discord. And I will be back later this evening. Bye-bye.